Can Zhen Huan, blessed with both beauty and talent, truly outshine all in the imperial harem and enjoy everlasting favor? Hearing that voice, I knew things were amiss. Turning around, I followed protocol and paid my respects. Greetings to noble consort Hua, may you be in peace. Lingrong, having not interacted with noble consort Hua for a long time, was visibly flustered upon seeing her and kept bowing deeply in respect. Noble consort Hua said, "Rise," her gaze briefly sweeping over my face with indifference. Since when has Lady Zhen learned to sing? To be able to sing and dance, truly a refreshing surprise for this palace. I responded with a smile, "Your Highness flatters me. I do not possess such a singing voice." It was Lady An who was singing. Noble consort Hua glanced at Lingrong standing beside me, who was bowing her head submissively. Suddenly, she reached out and lifted Lingrong's chin, her eyes narrowing slightly. "She does look rather pleasing." Taken aback, Lingrong's face paled, but she regained some composure upon hearing noble consort Hua's remark. Unexpectedly, noble consort Hua sharply rebuked, "How dare you sing such frivolous songs in the imperial garden?" Lingrong trembled, her face filled with fear as she bowed deeply. "This concubine dares not." Noble consort Hua coldly scrutinized Lingrong, seemingly recognizing her as a new face. After a moment she said, "I wondered who it was. Turns out it's the daughter of An Bai Huai, who was just pardoned by the emperor." Her tone was contemptuous. The daughter of a criminal, rather than reflecting in seclusion, dares to parade around the imperial garden. As soon as she finished, the maids and eunuchs behind her could not help but cover their mouths and laugh. Seeing their reaction, Lingrong was so upset she was nearly in tears, biting her lower lip hard to hold back. "My father is not a criminal," I said. "The father of Lady An was found innocent and reinstated." "He is not a criminal." Noble consort Hua's expression darkened slightly, then she became indifferent. Sometimes being released without charges does not mean one is truly innocent. Lady Zhen should be well aware of the underlying reasons. Turning to me, she continued, "It's one thing for a minor servant to be ignorant of the rules. But how come Lady Zhen also fails to teach her the principles of propriety, righteousness, integrity, and honor?" Caught off guard and exchanging looks with Lingrong, we were at a loss for words. The only option was to say, "It's just a song. How does it relate to propriety, righteousness, integrity, and honor? We are confused and would appreciate your Highness's guidance." Noble consort Hua's face showed a trace of satisfaction as she fixed her gaze on me. How come Lady Zhen, well-versed in literature, is puzzled now? Holding back her anger, she continued, "Then tell me, who wrote this song?" "The song is Golden Threaded Robe, written by Du Chonyang of the Tang dynasty." Du Chonyang was initially the concubine of Li Qi, who was executed for rebellion. Later, Du Chonyang was brought into the palace by Emperor Xianzong of Tang, and was made consort Xiu, receiving much favor. Being the family of a traitor and serving two masters, the song by such an unfaithful and unrighteous woman, yet you dare to sing it so carelessly in the palace. Hearing her twist the story, Lingrong couldn't stop bowing and apologizing. I bent my knees slightly and said, "Your Highness is indeed correct. It was not Du Chonyang's choice to be a traitor's family. Moreover, after entering the palace, she served the emperor wholeheartedly, aiding in the governance, which could be considered as redeeming her faults. After Emperor Muzong ascended the throne, he even appointed her as a foster mother to the princes. It seems she was not without merit. We hope for your Highness's discernment." Noble consort Hua smiled subtly, but her eyes were filled with a piercing cold light. Lady Zhen seems to be quite adept at argumentation. Her smile barely faded when her expression turned stern, and her words carried a chilling anger. According to the family precepts by Sima Guang, a woman's virtue lies in her compliance and submission, not in her ability to argue forcefully. How come Lady Zhen disregards even this basic feminine virtue, speaking out of turn and offending your superiors? Her attack was swift and harsh, causing sweat to break out on my forehead. "This concubine dares not." Lingrong hurriedly stepped in front of me, her voice trembling with tears. "Lady Zhen didn't mean it. Please forgive her, your Highness." Noble consort Hua huffed coldly. "Defending each other even when you're at fault, truly a deep sisterly bond." She then laughed again, her smile bewitchingly beautiful but her tone chilling. "As the head of the harem, It's my duty to teach you both the rules you should follow, she called out. Someone come. Despite having no authority to manage the affairs of the 6 palaces, her rank was second only to the empress, and it was uncertain how she would deal with Lingrong and me. The clap of hands was like thunder, yet before anyone appeared, a voice praised, "What a beautiful song!" Looking up, I saw the imperial umbrella with its 5 colors and 9 dragons fluttering in the wind, alongside the dazzling colors of the imperial canopies. Emperor Xianling stood behind noble consort Hua, with the empress, her lips curved in a faint, detached smile, standing silently by his side, observing coldly. Li Zhang led the ceremonial guards, all standing silently, their heads bowed. It was unclear when they had approached, nor how much of this scene had been witnessed by the emperor and empress. Relief washed over me, and I almost wanted to cry with joy. Noble consort Hua was startled and quickly turned to pay her respects. Long live the emperor! Long live the empress! The ground was crowded with people on their knees, but Emperor Xianling seemed to ignore them, stepping forward and helping me up with a gentle look in his eyes. You seldom dress so brightly. Standing by his side, I responded with a warm smile. Emperor Xianling then instructed noble consort Hua and the others to rise and said to me, I heard someone singing from afar and found it was you here. Glancing at noble consort Hua, he commented, the weather is refreshing today, and the imperial garden seems lively. Noble consort Hua, hesitating at first, then softened her tone. Has your majesty finished with the court? Are you tired? Emperor Xianling didn't respond immediately. After a moment, he half smiled at noble consort Hua. It's early in the day, is noble consort tired? With a smile I added, Your majesty arrives at such a coincidental time. Noble consort Hua was just enjoying lady and song with me. He took my hand and with an "Oh," asked noble consort Hua, Is that so? Caught in an awkward position, noble consort Hua felt relieved by Emperor Xianling's question and replied, Yes. She forced a smile. I think lady and sings very well. Emperor Xianling's long gaze softened, a hint of a smile appearing on his handsome face. He turned to Lingrong, speaking gently, I couldn't hear clearly from afar just now. Could you sing it again? I gave Lingrong an encouraging look. Taking a deep breath, she nodded vigorously, cleared her throat and sang once more. Lingrong's voice was like a green lotus in a pond, lush and fresh, resembling a breeze that starts from the tips of duckweed, refreshing and intoxicating. Her song, full of twists and turns, felt like it could shatter crystals and jade with its beauty. It was like the continuous spring silkworm spinning silk, intricate and never-ending, entwining for miles. The song conveyed a mix of passion and detachment, warmth and coolness, as if all 360 pores on the body had opened up, feeling indescribably comfortable and pleasant. Compared to this, all other beautiful voices in the world seemed mundane. Only the shattering of Kunlun jade or the weeping of fragrant orchids could barely compare. I was shocked and overwhelmed by such a beautiful voice in this world, delicate as a nightingale, soft as satin, clear as spring water, and gentle as a lover, captivating and soul-stirring, making one wish to drown in the song and never surface. Emperor Xianling appeared enchanted. Noble consort Hua's face turned ugly with surprise, while the empress's astonishment was fleeting, soon replaced by a quiet smile, as if she was merely enjoying a common tune without any particular novelty. I was secretly amazed at the empress's composure. The song ended, its beautiful melody lingering in the air, winding and circling, refusing to dissipate. Emperor Xianling remained lost in a daze for a long moment. The empress softly called, Your Majesty. Emperor Xianling seemed not to hear her at first, only coming out of his reverie after she called a few more times. I knew then that Lingrong had succeeded, and splendidly so, beyond expectations. The empress, with a smile brimming in her eyes, said to Emperor Xianling, Lady Anne's song is truly beautiful, like the sounds of heaven. Lingrong, praised by the empress, bowed deeply in gratitude, her delicate features lowered. Emperor Xianling asked her to raise her head, his gaze resting on Lingrong's blushing face. Lingrong's eyes, brimming with a mix of unease, shyness, and timidity, were genuinely captivating. This gentle vulnerability, absent from all the consorts around Emperor Xianling, stirred an unusual feeling within me. Emperor Xianling seemed in a splendid mood, mirroring the clear blue sky of the day. A flower worthy of being plucked must be plucked, he said kindly. What is your name? Lingrong glanced at me uncertainly. I smiled reassuringly, and she managed to speak more confidently, albeit softly. And Lingrong. Noble consort Hua's smile stiffened slightly. When responding to the emperor, you should refer to yourself as this concubine. Your earlier reply wasn't considered impolite. Lingrong panicked, lowering her head even further. Yes. Thank you, noble consort, for your guidance. The empress remarked to noble consort Hua. It seems you will be meeting Lady An quite often in the future. Take your time to teach her, there's plenty of time. A gleam flashed in noble consort Hua's eyes before she smiled widely, revealing her pearly teeth. Of course. With the empress overseeing the myriad affairs of the harem, it's only right for me to ease some of your burdens. Emperor Xianling, still smiling at Lingrong, instructed her to rise. Very good. The song is refreshing, and so are you. I discreetly stepped back, maintaining a proper smile as a concubine should, my part in this moment over. Following the departure of the emperor, the empress, and noble consort Hua, I excused myself, citing fatigue and a desire to return. Emperor Xianling advised me to rest well and ordered the maids to escort me back. Lingrong wished to accompany me. After Emperor Xianling and the others had walked a few steps, Li Zhang hurried over to invite Lingrong to join them. Lingrong looked at me helplessly before catching up with Emperor Xianling. I leaned on Lu Zhu's arm, walking back slowly with Pinner and Jingqing following. Lu Zhu asked if I wished to return immediately. I bit my lip and shook my head, strolling leisurely along Fanyu Lake. Gazing down, I admired the beautiful hem of my dress, reminiscent of the magnificent clouds at the horizon. The embroidery of carmine spring blossoms on my dress captured the essence of spring's beauty, monopolizing all the splendor of the season. Yet this brilliance and beauty seemed to have reached their peak, with no path forward. I pondered how much effort and how many threads went into creating such extravagant beauty. And when the sharp needle pierced through the fine silk to weave this beauty, did the silk feel pain? Was that pain akin to what I was feeling now? Lifting my gaze, I saw a tree with deep red magnolias blooming fiercely like torches in the courtyard. A gust of wind blew past, almost searing the eyes. The lake in the courtyard was full of lotus flowers, perhaps indicating that the season of blooming begonias had passed. Suddenly, a vague sense of alarm swept through my heart, elusive when I tried to grasp it. A few petals of the crimson magnolia fell onto my sleeve, and as I reached out to brush them away, I noticed my pale hands, white as snow, gathered under the moonlight. The contrast of the red petals sticking to my hands made the red even more intense, the white even purer, strikingly vivid. That sense of alarm became clearer, like the juice of magnolia flowers staining my bare hands, distinct and sinuous. A tear slid silently into the palm of my hand. Perhaps it wasn't a tear, but just a drop of dew from this summer morning, or maybe a remnant from last night's thunderstorm that left me unafraid, now lingering under today's sunshine, moistening my desolate heart at this moment. I tilted my face upward, gently wiping away the wet trace on my cheek, plucked a bright red flower and smiled silently without a sound.
Follow us to avoid getting lost and enjoy endless exciting stories. For more content, please go to the Story Wall homepage to view more exciting novels.